So last week we started, oh, just let me know when you started recording. It's recording. Okay, great. So last week we went over the Monday Power Hour. And as I mentioned before, I only want you to spend 1 hour doing this effort that I'm going to be teaching over the next 3 weeks, okay? Just 1 hour. The reason I say that is because you're going to get better, faster, more efficient at the effort as you go on. I don't want you to get frustrated with, I don't know how to do all these posts yet. Maybe it's not entirely set up or whatever that is. 1 hour is all I want you to spend. The better you get at it, the more you'll be able to post. If you get to a point where you can hire someone or you have someone that can help, fine, that's great. But I want to make sure that we understand what we're trying to accomplish. When we do the social media posts, there's basically two goals. One is top of mind marketing, which is just to remind everybody that's following you who you are and that you're an agent and that you're out there. That's why we post on social media. You probably, up to this point, that's the only reason we posted, is just to remind people that we're there and able to help them. Our goal also is to generate leads. If we're not generating leads, then that effort isn't very effective, or not, or nurturing those leads. But top of mind is still part of the nurturing process for our SOI. So as I go to the website, let me go back here. So go here to the website. The first thing that I want you to do is to use those 5 landing pages for open house weekend price reduced listings, just like I taught you last week, and just do a post for that. Has anybody had issues trying to put a post together with that? Has that been forward? Okay, after this, let's look at that, because you had mentioned that before, like weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And you're still having that issue? Okay, we'll take a look at that. I did have that issue once a couple of years ago when we were trying to connect Facebook, my business account, and it wouldn't show up. So let me check on that, see if I can figure that out, okay? So again, the purpose of the social media posts is to get to the point where on a regular basis, you've got posts going out. And I want you to remember that when you do that, you can take a post that goes to your business page and then share it from there onto your Facebook or Instagram account that you have a lot of people following already. So don't feel like it just gets stuck there in limbo. You can get it out there to more of your people by sharing it. Of course, the best way to share it, even more so, is to boost it. So boosting does now work. I know last week we had an issue with that. So when you go to your social studio, it is still providing this AI feature that they call it Spark Social Post. It's a new feature that they're trying to promote. Please don't feel even remotely like you have to be a part of that, right? It's just something that they're adding on to their features because they want to charge you for it, which we're trying to work this out so they stop doing that, because we've provided an all-inclusive offering for you, and it's not that necessary. If we find something that we feel is really of great value, we're going to try to add it as part of the monthly fee and the account that you have, not happy to pay extra for it, okay? You're already paying enough for it. So, but this does, for this time being, in this free trial, allow you to ask AI to do the post for you. You can write what you want to post and it'll create the whole thing. Honestly, before I thought it worked just fine, or even using ChatGPT to do it, but that's what it's doing here. Once you put a post out there, then it comes right back to what you're used to seeing, where here's all your scheduled posts that are going out, and you have that boost post function. Okay, just like before. You click on the boost post function, you decide how much you want to spend, and basically all you're going to do is pick the area. You do have the ability to customize it towards existing leads. If your database has thousands of people in it and you have it segmented in a way that you have first-time buyers or whatever might fit the particular post that you're doing, and you want to send it to them, great. It can do that through social media. I don't think that's as effective unless you have a really good database. So for most of you, just hit this area, the target area. It does everything else for you and the amount that you want to spend. How much should you spend? This is an experiment that you'll want to do. It's going to be different for each of you based on your own social media footprint that you have. It'll build up over time. The area that you're in, the post that you have, there's so many factors involved. These have been working really well. I've had many of you get back to me and say, yeah, I boosted a post and actually I got a good, a lot of engagement from it. So I would say spend $25 on one post once a week, maybe $100 a month, if you can afford it and you feel comfortable with that. If you don't worry about it. Getting these posts out there once a week is the goal right now. So once you've created your posts out there, for the week. So here you can see this is this week's Monday through Friday posts. See that we've got one post going out each day of the week. So Braden did that, like we're trying to do each week. I want you to do that too. So on Mondays, you're just going to go in here and create your posts for the week based on those 5 landing pages. Everyone feel good about that? If you want to boost one of them, great. Try it. You'll get more. At the very least, go to your posts. So if I go to facebook.com, as an example, you can do this in Instagram as well. I use Facebook as a kind of a default, but you can do this in all the others as well. It's actually showing up here, right? Because I follow Tyrenda Real Estate. So I get this post right here. Sometimes you'll see that. If not, you'll have to go to your landing page. Your account page. Like for us, it's Tyrenda Real Estate, and to see these posts that are going out there. Because this is just my regular wall, obviously, of all the different things that are on my Facebook wall. Now, on the top right of the screen is my picture because that's how I'm logged in. If this was the Tyrenda logo, then I'd be logged in as the real estate group. Make sense? So I want to make sure that I'm logged in as me. And at this point, I can like that post that just went out. So now I'm liking it as Mike Anderson, not as Tyrenda. And then if I share it, it's actually going to go out there and share with I have like 3,000 or 4,000 followers. So it's going to be seen by probably more people that way than if I just leave it on the Tyrenda site. Okay. So then I can hit share now. If I want to put some information about this, check out these homes offering seller concessions, which means you can get rate buy downs or closing cost paid by the seller. This is a great time to buy. Now, obviously, if they click on it, they'll go to my webpage, so I can just leave it at that. If you want to put a call to action, you could put call me to get a great deal today, or a great deal on a home, or something like that, and you could put your number. Where did you get that graphic? So these graphics, this particular one was built by AI. So I don't know if you can do that, right? Isn't that one built by AI?
Yeah,
so
I use Canva's AI to build.
Yes.
Most of these images.
Yeah, so Canva has an AI feature. ChatGPT does as well. So you can actually go in there and say, you create an image. That's what you do. You say, create an image, and then you tell it what you want. Seller concessions offered by home sellers, right? Or something like that. And it'll create that for you. I can tell it's AI because it looks like an AI image. You can kind of recognize them. But you can create your own images. The only thing you don't want to do is steal images from the web that aren't yours, that aren't copyright free. Okay. So I'm going to hit share now. So I'm going to put it out there. But the fact that I see these homes, and you can kind of see that it's almost like semi-animated. And then you see the concessions offered in this flag, but it's still, it's a good image, but I can tell this is AI created. Okay.
Is that a bad thing?
No, it's not necessarily bad. Not at all. Yeah. And the thing is if you want to have that variety, like if you're going to post this every single week, having the variety in images is good for you. Right. And I did mention this before. We're going to talk about it next week more, is about doing video. So I am going to recommend that you do video. I even recommend you do a video about one of these posts that you can keep putting out there every now and then about concessions, where you're actually talking about what it means to buy a house in a market like today, because this is a buyer's market. I don't know if you all agree with me, but in my opinion, it's a buyer's market because as a buyer, I'm negotiating with a seller about offering me incentives. That's a buyer's market. So like I said, I just bought a house. We closed on it 2 weeks ago. That was listed for $525. I bought it for $480, and I already have a renter. I have a renter and we're still doing some finishing up. It took me 3 days to find a renter that's covering the cost. So it's a great time to buy, honestly. I mean, in my opinion, if people knew what you can get right now for negotiating deals, there's no reason to wait until interest rates go down. Once they go down, I'll just refinance, right? You know, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to remind you that your job on Mondays, on your power hour, is to put out your posts. Now, level 1 is just use the 5 landing pages that I already created for you, or that we created for you. Remember, a good advertising funnel, you always want to think about it in that way, starts with understanding what your customer wants, number 1, right? They don't want to know more about you as an agent. I'm sorry, but they're not looking for shopping for an agent. They want good deals on homes if it's about real estate, right? That's why we offer, here's all the homes for sale that offer concessions. Here's all the new builds offering concessions. Here's all the open houses this weekend. Those are type of things that matter to them. So that's the first thing I wanted to consider in a good lead funnel, okay? Good advertising funnel. The second is that you follow the 2, 5, 15-second rule of something that attracts them immediately. You have to have a good picture. So that picture that says seller concessions, then you have a hook and a call to action that goes with that. The 5 seconds is the hook. What's in it for me? Why do I care? Right? That's why step 1, we got to know why they care. And then the call to action is, what do I do? Oh, if I click on this link, I'm going to see all the homes that are for sale that have those concessions. So if I go back here and I come to my landing page, so we'll go to the homes for sale offering concessions. You know, they come to this page and it's like, oh, there are 1,370 homes in the Wasatch Front. Every single one of these homes, that's a lot. Can you believe that right now we have over 1,300 homes with concessions? That is a buyer's market. If you don't know, if you haven't worked in this industry long enough to know what a buyer's market is, that is a buyer's market. 2.5 years ago, how many homes do you think would have showed up with seller concessions? 3 years ago? 0 or maybe 10. Yeah, and they were like dilapidated, you know, like, yeah, exactly. They're like so horrible that they had to, you know, exactly. Like now, the fact that 1,370 is probably, I would say it's close to half of all the homes for sale. I don't know. I'd have to look at all the homes for sale, what there are right now, but it's a good percentage of the homes that are for sale out there, at least here in the Wasatch Front, that are offering these concessions. So this is a great time to buy, and we're trying to get that message out there. And you being able to post that out there on a regular basis, it might take 4 or 5 times that the people that are seeing you on social media actually think, you know, they start talking about it. Like, as another example, my sister picked me up from the airport yesterday. We were in San Diego because my daughter's getting her bridal pictures done and getting married and all that kind of stuff. Kind of fun, but crazy too that she's getting married. Anyway, so on the way back from the airport, my sister was super nice to come pick me up from the airport, and she's like, she has some money, and she started asking, because she knows I do real estate. She's asking, I'm thinking about maybe we should buy a house. She's seen the posts that are going out there. She never responded to any of the posts. It's, you know, I don't even have her in my database right now, but she had seen those posts enough that it started getting her to think. Does that make sense? Getting your people to start thinking about real estate is what this social media posting effort is all about. And so they start thinking about it. And then all of a sudden she's like, hey, I really feel like I need to buy a house. And then she started asking the question, should I rent out my home because she lives in a townhome? I'm only paying 3% interest on it. I don't want to lose that. She had all these questions. And as I answered those questions, she's like ready to start looking for a home, you know, as an investment property. So I'm telling you, your people, even your family and your friends that know you're a real estate agent, don't really know how you can help them in a lot of ways beyond just when they're ready to buy or sell, that you're the agent that they choose. They don't realize that you actually have insights to homes that have concessions or things that are going to help them beyond just the expectation that you just do a job. Does that make sense? So I want you to put those posts out there so that they start thinking about you as their consultant and their person they can bounce ideas off of and stuff like that. Okay. Any questions about that? Yes.
So you're basically just putting the link for that page in Facebook.
Yeah, you're good.
Instagram. Yeah.
I know with Instagram, it's a little bit different. The link still goes in there, but they're not going to be able to, they have to copy it and paste it in there, but still just the reminder, if you just put out there, even if they don't click on it, right? even if they don't click on it, but they see this post every single week, you're putting out a post and they see it on Instagram as they go through their wall, all the homes that are, offering concessions. It might be 5 or 6 times over a period of a few months that they see it before it finally like clicks into a point where like, hey, I need to talk about it, but you're going to be the first person they're going to think about. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now with Instagram, let's say you have a good Instagram following, or you really want to create that. That's when I'd recommend pay the $25 once a week, $100 a month budget if you want to do that. As soon as you pay Instagram or Facebook money, what does it do? It's going to put it in front of a lot more people, and it's going to give you the options like to click a link to go directly to that page. Because again, you have to remember, Facebook and Instagram are a company called Meta, and how does Meta make their money? By advertising. If you're not going to pay for it, then why are they going to give it to you for free, right? So they want you to pay for it. As soon as you pay for it with Instagram, guess what happens? Not only does it get in front of a lot more people that they can target that are looking to buy homes right now, or that are thinking about it in some way, it also gives you the button that you want so that it's easy to click. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's kind of levels to this. Level 1, top of mind marketing, just get it out there. Share it if you want to onto your own page. Level 2, boost it, right? And then level 3 is not only boosting it, but putting more stuff out there. Add a video to one of those posts or a week. Don't overdo it. Remember, spend 1 hour a day so you're not overwhelming yourself with it. And just say, okay, now I can put these posts out in 15 minutes. I know that, Braden, how long does it take you to do all those 5 posts? 15 minutes?
For the week, yeah.
Yeah, because he uses the AI to generate the image. So he has all the posts done in 15 minutes. He's got 45 more minutes to do something else. That could be a video that he puts with it. It could be a boost that he puts in there as well. And then, as I mentioned before, if you've got those 5 done, and you're like, okay, what else do? I sent this over the weekend. How many of you saw my spring maintenance program that I sent out? Hopefully you saw that I sent. So what this is as part of that homeowner life cycle offering, again, number 1 in this kind of lead funnel is I've got to know what they care about most. If someone owns a house but isn't in the mode right now of buying a new property, maybe not this moment, but we still want to be in front of them in terms of real estate services. Keeping up their house is a big deal. So, excuse me, March is about, we put it down to 2 tasks per month so we don't overwhelm people. And we found, we took some time to put this together in a way that if someone owns a property, if they do 2 primary things each month over the course of 12 months, all the things that they really need to take care of in their house will be taken care of. Did you guys know about these? So this is really cool stuff. And stuff that I'm going to do more diligently. I even realized as I was putting it together, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot to do that, or I haven't done this for a while. And we get into that mode. You're going to now remind them of this. So here's the spring home maintenance plan. We have one for each of the 4 seasons. And then each season, of course, has the 3 months. So we've got March, April, and May right now. So March, flush your water heater. And then why? Reduces sediment buildup and improves efficiency. DIY steps. And then it says see DIY videos below. I found the best videos out there. I know we had created a whole bunch for another company, so I couldn't put them out there. So I went out there and looked for these videos. I could not believe how many amazing YouTube videos were out there about how to flush your water heater, about how to clean out your air ducts. That's the 2 things you're going to do in March, for example. So here, I'll play this. Yeah, just got them off YouTube. And they're more than happy to have you take their videos and share them. So I created this page so they're all right here. So they don't have to go search for them and go all over the place. Here's this really great landing page that says, here's what you need to do for March, just 2 things. And then here's these DIY videos to help you to do it. So here's this lady showing you how to flush a water heater. Oh, why isn't my sound going? Well, I'll let you guys watch it because you got it, but my sound's not playing right now. But it's actually really good. She was really straightforward. She has this channel called the Daily DIY for organized living is what it's called. But it's really cool. And she walks you through, like anybody could figure out how to flush their own water heater. It would cost you probably right now with a plumber a couple $100, maybe $150 to have someone come out and do this for you. It literally is something you can do in a half an hour, yourself. And do it for free, right? And you should know how to do this. Then I found another one that he had a different way of flushing a water heater where you can keep the water heater on instead of turning everything off. You have an electric water heater and you have a gas one. So you have to know which one, you have and what to do. He actually would keep the water heater running with the heat on it. And then he would turn the valve on and off to help flush out the sediment. And he doesn't empty the water heater like most people did. And I was like, oh, that's a kind of a cool idea. So I added that video if someone wants to see that. And then I was like, what about tankless water heaters? Do they need to be flushed? Because I didn't even know if that's the case. Looked it up. There's actually tankless water heaters actually do need to be flushed. And this guy from Texas, plumber out there, shows you how to do it. It's so straightforward and easy to do. Did you know that, Braden? You have to do a tankless water heater? I didn't know that. Because sediment, builds up inside of those tankless water heaters, even though it doesn't hold all the water, obviously. And so he shows you how to do that. Once a year, you should do it. What about cleaning out your dryer vents? Do you guys clean out your dryer vents once a year? That's good. A lot of people do that. I forget to do it all the time, right? So anyway, there's this kid that shows you how to do it and why and all sorts of stuff, and it makes it really easy. These are really, really good videos. Your AC tune-up is the other thing that you're going to do in April. So I've got a couple of videos. These are just 2 videos about how you can do your own cleaning up your AC unit. And then I've got how to wash a pressure house, how to clean your windows, how to turn on your sprinkler system, how to replace sprinkler heads. This one I really liked. It's about doing spring cleaning. She uses a little steamer, and she does all of her spring cleaning with this steamer for her hard surfaces. It was awesome to watch it. So anyway, and this guy right here just shows you how to change your air filter and why, which a lot of people, they know they're supposed to change their air filter, but they don't completely understand how or the reason. And so these are really good videos for that. So basically, imagine once a month when you're doing your social media posts, just throw out a video on your social media that says, hey, this is March. Don't forget to flush your water heater and clean your dryer vents. Click here to learn how with video. And just put it out there.
And would you send them just to that video, or would you send?
No, you send them to this page. Remember, you always in your funnel have a post, right?
Yeah.
Hooked to call to action, and it always links to a landing page. So the page has all the video instead of just one video. And this is actually your website. If they come to your website and they're part of your SOI, they're already logged in. You actually get to see it. You'll see that they came to it. If they're not, they could actually register for different reasons, because down here at the bottom, I put what's your house worth. So like, oh yeah, what's my house worth? You can put other if you want, and I'll show you how to do this down the road if you want.
Can you share that landing page with us?
I did on that. Yeah, that email I sent you over the weekend has all that.
Gotcha.
Right. So what I did here, and we'll have all these videos when, Braden is putting all the how-to videos together. So you know how my coaching videos are on Captivate Agents, if you've been watching those. He's going to have basically a course that's the onboarding course, and then the social media or social studio course. And we'll have courses for each area of the CRM so that you can go through and like, okay, now I know how to do each one of these things. Because sometimes it takes doing it once or twice before you figure out how to, or at 10 or 12 or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So, oh yes.
I have a question about when you boost a post.
Uh-huh.
Do you do like a custom target, or do you pick it out yourself, or do you let them do it? Okay.
Yeah. So again, I'm putting this at different levels, right? The easiest level for you is to use Social Studio. We created it in the CRM. That if you put a post out there in the CRM, one thing it does is it puts it to all the different channels, right? So it's just nice. If you hit boost post here, instead of going into Meta Ad Manager or even the boost feature there, where you have a lot more options and you have to make sure that you select the right housing category and all that kind of stuff, this does it all for you. So all you're doing is saying, what's the area that I'm targeting? Because it's really good to target one area. If you say, I want to target all the state of Utah, you better put a lot of money into that. If you target just the whole Wasatch Front, I would pay at least $100 because that's, you're basically having to pay more money to reach all those people. If you do a smaller group, you could pay less money. But yeah, you have something to say about that?
Well, you can actually pay the same amount for the whole state. It just means you're going to be distributing that same number of ads across an area that you may not be able to cover.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not that you can't do it for the $50. It's just not going to be a benefit for you.
Exactly.
Where if you're doing it in a targeted area, that's the area that's getting the same number of ads, but in a smaller group that you can maintain and actually use your target audience.
Thank you for putting it that way. So does that make sense? So when you pick your farm, we've talked about that a little bit. We'll talk about that in next week, actually. When you do your farm area, like Silicon Slopes, Utah County, Salt Lake City, whatever it is, and you focus in on that area, you're going to put more eyes from that area on people that are interested in, this, to get leads that are more concentrated in that area. If you're too specific, though, it could make it hard, but yeah.
Well, actually, one of the things I also wanted to emphasize on that, if you're doing your farm area like he's saying, and you're doing the boosting in there, it's doing it randomly to the people in that area, but it means that over time, if you're continually doing boosting, you have a good chance of being seen by the same person again.
Yeah.
And so, which is your repetitive need to get known. So if somebody, out of 100 posts or 100 boosts, they may see it only 5 times, but that's actually a pretty good hit. Where if you do it across the state, anyone who gets hit is probably never going to see you ever again. So that's why you want to target that area. And $50 is fine, especially if you're in a more narrow area where they will start getting repetitive posts.
Yeah, it's very similar to when you do have a listing and you do the 5, ads over the 6 days. Is if you have more going out to a specific group or specific area, and there's more likely to see, if they see one, they're more likely to see another. That's part of the algorithm. You're going to build up the momentum of having the same people seeing a lot of your ads to make them more likely to want to reach out to you. We call it a multiple touch effort because they say that it takes 6 to 9 touches before someone's willing to make a buying decision. If you've heard that before. So you want the same people to see your stuff more often.
Oh, in this case, thank you. This is like for a listing in Eden that I have.
Oh yeah, listing. Yeah.
And it's a smaller area.
Uh-huh.
So, but there's always people from Salt Lake moving up there, Park City. So would I just
Good question.
let it figure it out?
Yes, because part of the algorithm, the nice thing about Meta or these social media sites is that it's not just about where people are from, it's where they're looking. So if you could be someone in Florida looking to buy in Eden, for example, if they're getting tracked by looking at places in Florida, and you say, I want to show this to people that are in Eden or that looking to buy in Eden, and he's looking to buy in Eden, he'll see it because of that. Does that make sense? Yes.
We have a question online.
Uh-huh.
Liz has a question.
Go ahead, Liz.
Hey, Mike.
Oops, hold on a second. Our sound is turned off. Go ahead, Liz.
Oh, hey.
Hey, now I can hear you. Sorry.
Good. I've had a burning question about this for a while. I've been trying to figure out. So it seems like when you're on Facebook trying to boost an ad yourself, you have to turn on this is a real estate related ad, and then it kind of you can't make any more specifics after that because of fair housing. But it seems like I saw you on Social Studio boosting an ad and you could pick an area.
Yeah, so to be clear about that, it does limit your target because they don't want you to redline, meaning it has to be within at least 15-mile radius of your location. It won't let you do it more narrow than that. And it does kind of minimize what target audience that you're going to, but it doesn't eliminate it. It just minimizes it. What the CRM is doing for you is it's selecting that all for you, so you don't have to. It just makes it easier. I mean, really, there's only so many options to choose from anyway that are real estate related. And what the system does for you is actually just as good, or maybe even better if you've never done it before, than doing it yourself in Facebook. So the nice thing about using the CRM is that you don't have to go to Facebook at all or to Meta to do it. All you have to do is click on Boost, and then the button link right here. See, you're asking about this, about your Instagram. You actually put in the link to that. Usually it should show up, but because the post itself is not a link post, you would just come in here. Let's go through that. If I want to post this one right here about window shopping, I'm going to go to my website. So make sure you go to your website, and I'm going to pick the landing page that has to do with the open house weekend, because that's what this one's about. Okay. Now, if you get information that follows after a question mark, do you see all this text all this mumbo jumbo after that, just so you know. You don't have to, let me go back here, sorry. Okay, so you see where it says search.homes/open house weekend, and then it has a question mark, and then all that stuff after the question mark. You don't have to use any of that stuff beyond the question mark. That's tracking information, okay? So when you copy your link, just go to the domain, which is search.homes. In your case, it'll be yourdomain.com, right? And then, or .homes, and then you have open house weekend. Remember, there's no spaces or special characters. I just copy that, and then I come over here. So this would be the only thing you want to do, and I'm going to paste it in there. Okay. What this is going to do on your button link when you boost a post using the CRM system is in Instagram, as well as Facebook and the other places, it will then create a button that they can click on. Make sense? Okay. Then over here, it says custom target. You can select leads. You can actually click on this. It'll go to your database in your CRM, and you can actually select a segment or individual person if you want, or whatever you want, and it will try to market directly to them based on the information it can provide to Facebook and Instagram. Honestly, unless you have a huge database, I would just avoid not doing that. It's not going to work. You'd have to have thousands of people in there to make it worthwhile, I think, in my opinion, or hundreds at least. Okay. Now, again, if you're specific to one area and you've got so many people in that area in the database, then it might be worth trying. But most likely you're going to come over here, select the area. So here I'm going to pick a target area, and let's say, your home is in Eden, right? So if I'm going to do Eden, I would select that here. Is Eden an actual city? Yeah, it is. Eden, Utah. There it is. I didn't know that if it was an actual city. So you can put Eden, Utah. Now, in this case, I'm doing open houses, right? So let's say that your target area where you really want to focus, you can go as large as like Utah County. So I use Utah County when I do a lot of these, because I don't want to just say, Vineyard or Eagle Mountain or Provo or Orem or something like that. I'm basically all Utah County. I'm willing to pay enough, which to me, $50 for an ad works great. And I want to get leads from this area. I really don't want to drive up to Salt Lake if I don't have to, so you can decide where that is. Notice that the minimum mile radius, because this is real estate related, is 15. It's grayed out. I can't go on a radius smaller than that. Okay. So basically it's going to take Utah County and go a little beyond that, 15 miles beyond that. Make sense? And then I hit save. And what's cool about this is that's it. Now I just determine what time period that I want. Now, if you're only going to do $50, I would say do it for a week. Anything $50 and under, do it for 1 week. If you're going to try to do it beyond that, because now you're extending out how long it's going to run that ad, if you don't spend more money, it's really not going to do you a lot of good, unless you just only want one lead or so a week or something like that because you're busy. But I would say, in kind of a rule of thumb, is to pick 1 week, $50 or $25 on one of these posts. And then after that, you don't have to do anything else. This is actually going to post it to Facebook and Instagram. You can see right here. And so it'll put that button on Instagram because I put it up here. Does that make sense? And then I just hit boost post, and then it boosts the post for me. Should I just go ahead and do it? Can we spend the $50? Okay, we'll do that. So you can see over here, I have to ask the money guy over here. You see over here that it takes my ad and it already has everything that I put here together. Have you made have you made any exciting weekend plans yet? Treat yourself to some guilt-free window shopping for breathtaking homes. Discover your perfect dream space, et cetera, et cetera. That's what it's going to look like on Facebook and Instagram. It'll now also create a link. I'm spending $50 and I hit boost post. And that's all you have to do. So again, if you're going to put posts out there, put the posts out there, step one, using the landing pages and the funnel that we've talked about. Level two, spend a little bit of money on one of the posts. Do it a different, like this week I might do the open house one, and next week I'll do the concessions one, the new build concessions. You can do that. Yes.
In case of the boost, is that applied on Facebook, or will it actually try and do paid ads on Instagram and YouTube and all that?
Yeah, just like I showed you, it does it on both.
I mean,
Paid on both. Yeah, it's going to be paid on both. Yeah. So when I click on boost post here, I'll show you that. Down here at the bottom on the choose placements, it has Facebook by default, And then I have a checkbox for Instagram. I can uncheck it if I want, and I don't want it to go to
Are those the
Instagram.
only two that it will boost to?
Yes, at this from in here, yes. So if you want to boost, or I should say advertise, because it's different on Instagram, on LinkedIn or YouTube or those others, you would have to, they don't have it built in
Okay,
to this.
do those on your-
You have to do those on your own. Yeah. But I would say for the most part, these are going to work for you for 90% of what you'd want to do. Okay. Any questions about that? I know we've spent a lot more time than I expected on this, but I'm glad you're asking these questions because I want you to make sure that that Monday power hours is effective for you. So again, on Monday, do your 5 posts, choose one if you want, and boost it. If you want to wait or don't want to spend the money, don't worry about it. You will see more of a return of leads and opportunities and engagement if you do boost it. Obviously, that's what it's there for. Okay. Yes.
Do you think it's more beneficial to do a boost for, say, like a listing, or it would be for more come forward, checking this out, this article on my page?
Yeah. So the number one, and I'll always say this, and I've said this for years and years, the number one advertisement an agent can do for the most return on investment, the best lead generation effort are listings. Number one by far. Like, it's such a huge difference. If you can get a listing and you advertise your listing and it creates more listings and you advertise those and keep going, you can build your entire business off of that. So by far, by like 100 times of all other list or advertising you can do, best listing advertising you can do is on your listings for both buyers and sellers. Okay. Down the line, you don't have enough listings yet, then you can start doing this. You want more top of mind. This is great for top of mind marketing, meaning even those people that are part of that listing effort. Like, for example, if you put a listing out there, advertisement, and someone sees that advertisement like, oh, that's really cool. If you boost another one, like here's all the open houses this weekend, if a person looked at your listing advertisement, which gets a lot more engagement than any other advertisement, guess what they're going to be more likely to see? That other boost on the open house weekend, etc. Does that make sense? Your listings actually will set the stage for almost all the best advertising an agent can do. Yes.
Then that actually brings me to another question on that. Sorry to monopolize this.
No, that's fine.
Would you then say it would be better to do the lofty listing boost or to do a post boost? Which would be the better?
Can you repeat that question just to make sure?
Yeah. So basically what Robert's asking is that, is it better to do this boost or the listing blast post? So that's, if you go over here to the left, you have what's called listing blast. Okay. What this does here is it gives you the ability to go beyond just a boost of one post. It creates a listing blast, which they've created an algorithm and an effort to get it out there. I love this listing blast, by the way. You can see I did it on one listing here that you can see where I spent $110. I got 1,240 impressions, 52 clicks, and it actually brought in 4 leads, like literally into my database, brought in 4 leads for $100, right? For this listing. And I promised my seller that I would do the listing advertisement. I spent $110 and they were ecstatic. They loved it and the house got off. You know, everything worked out just fine. To me, that's the easiest way to do it. Everybody in here should do that. Now, next level up is what Robert was mentioning. You can then go into meta ads, right? To meta ad manager, and you can boost your 5 different ones like I've always taught. It takes, how long does it take to do that?
Oh, 5 minutes.
No, if you, I was talking about when you did your last listing advertising. Sorry, I know you're busy. How long, when you did your 5 ads over your 5 days for that, how long did it take you to do all those ads? Do you remember? You're 2.5 hours. Yeah, it took a lot of time. So the difference is your time. If you want to spend the 2 hours and really get a really good momentum going out there, let's say you have $1 million property. It looks amazing. You had it staged and everything you did. I would spend the 2 hours and I would put out 5 or 6 ads. I would boost each one of them individually instead of using the listing blast feature. That's your question. I would do it that way and I'd get more overall, but I would spend a lot more money.
Post, but actually do it on the app.
I would do it on Ad Manager. That's what I do. But that's the next level up. And I don't want anybody in this room or anybody online to feel like, oh my goodness, if I really want to do it right, I have to do it that way. Don't think that way.
The only reason why I ask this is we've never gotten a lead from the ad manager.
Yeah,
We have
you've struggled with
gotten
it. Yeah.
lots of leads for the listing.
Yeah. And I love that you said that. So what Robert is saying, for those that didn't hear that, he used Listing Blast and he's boosted from the CRM system and gotten better results than when he goes to Ad Manager and does it there, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, we usually get about, in 1 week run, we spend about $100 a week.
Mhm.
And in 1 week, we'll usually get about 7 to 8 leads.
Wow. And is that on your listings or is that on anything on your listings?
They're
Yeah.
not all good leads, but some of them are. Usually
Yeah.
about one every 1 or 2 weeks, we get a pretty decent lead.
Yeah.
But the thing is that whenever we've done it on the Ad Manager, we've never once received
In years.
a lead.
Okay. Yeah. So that's good. That's Robert's testimonial, is just use the CRM and let it do your advertising. And I love that, because that's what we're trying to build for all of you, is a very easy way to do your marketing and your advertising to generate leads than having to figure out how to do it on your own through Meta directly or other systems or efforts. Okay. Yes.
Ashley has a question online.
Hey, Ashley.
You've kind of gone over some of the things I had questions about, but I guess my last question would be, what's the most that you spend on like a listing blast?
Yeah, usually it depends on the house that I'm selling. So if it's a
Mhm.
house that's under $1 million, usually I'm spending about $100 per ad. If it's over $1
Okay.
million, I'll spend 150 to 200 per ad when I do it in Meta. But I honestly, I'm new to this as well as all of you are, to this new system that we're building on. And this last, I had a house that sold for $490. Remember, it was up for $475 and we got $490 for it. And I spent $110. This kind of response I got for just doing the listing blast was more than enough for that property. So I only spent $110 this time instead of the $400 that I normally would have spent. So I guess I'm changing my tune a little bit. Like what Robert's saying is, why spend the extra time and money when this works just fine? So to answer your question, I'd say start low and see how it works. But I would
Okay.
spend at least $100, at least $100.
One of the things I would also say is, for the leads that you do get from Lofty,
Mhm.
using this approach, I think out of all of them, we've ever actually only had one that was actually interested in the property that we were showing.
Mhm.
It's just because of the way that they do their listing that it goes and gets seen, and then they submit their information for you. But it's really good for doing the buyer leads. It's terrible for the seller leads. It's great for the buyer leads, because the fact that they click on the lead means that they're at least looking in some way.
Yeah.
Now, since it's using the default Facebook registration, that is what they send to you, a lot of people don't put in their legitimate information into Facebook, which means it's also not what gets to you.
Okay.
But a lot of them are.
Yeah.
And that's a big part, is some of them actually do turn out well.
Yeah.
And they have legitimate phone numbers and they have legitimate emails.
Yeah.
And that's where you can do your nurturing with.
Okay. So before we go even further down in this, there is a course out there, the listing advertising course. I've had to redo it, so it's not up and updated right now. So don't go there yet. I will have it up there hopefully within a week, and you can follow that. The whole process is going to be in there on how to advertise your listings, and I'll have it up as soon as I possibly can. But I do recommend, so there's things that we haven't even talked about because it's not part of this. I actually get a whole bunch of leads from Facebook Marketplace. So I actually put my properties that I sell, like this property right here, I put up on Facebook Marketplace. I probably got over 100 inquiries about that property. And every single person that came in through Facebook Marketplace, I can contact them directly through Messenger at least. And I actually showed the property to 4 of those people in Facebook Marketplace, and 2 of them I'm still working with that came in as leads. So it does work, but I found Facebook Marketplace works really well for something like that. Exactly. But we'll get into that kind of stuff in that course. So let's kind of move on, because I want to get to what we're here to talk about. Yes.
One more question online. Sid's got his hands raised.
Hey, Sid. Nice to see you,
Hey,
Sid.
Mike.
We flew on the plane in San Diego.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we flew in together last night or yesterday. Hey, real quick, you said you start small with the the start of the lower price and then move up. What do you think is success? How many leads, how many imprints, all that? What would you say is the threshold where you're like, okay, let's move this up a little bit, or this one isn't working?
Yeah. So that is a good question that's kind of hard to answer. I mean, I was getting, when I did my ads the way that I did them before, I would get several thousand views and at least 10 or 12 good leads from it personally. When I did all that effort, this one effort that I did right here actually almost did that when I spent 110 compared to several $100s. So I guess my recommendation right now is to do the listing blast if you have a new listing. And I would say if it's under, like this house was only 490. So I would spend $100. If it was probably over 500, I would have spent a couple $100, et cetera. Maybe go up from there. But getting this many impressions and this many clicks through it to me was enough. But I don't know if it's going to be that way with every property. What I'm trying to accomplish, number one, is that I made a commitment to the seller as part of what I offer in terms of my real estate services, that I'm going to advertise their property on social media for them and pay for that advertising. The fact that I did that and I got this kind of result was the number one threshold I was trying to meet. The second is I'm trying to generate new leads. But honestly, if you're spending several $100s and you're not getting at least, I would say, over 1,000 impressions on it, and I would say like this has 50 clicks on it. If I'm not getting at least this, I'd spend more money. So I would say if you were to ask me for a threshold, I'd say this would be the minimum threshold.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if that helps, but that's the best I can give you right now. Okay. But remember, my purpose of this, number one, was I made a promise to the seller. Did I fulfill my promise? Yes. Did they get what they needed? The house sold quickly. Remember, we talked about the 3 Ps. I priced the house right. The house looked really great. And then I put the ads out there. As long as I follow those 3 things, that's my commitment, and it worked out. So I would say I wouldn't worry too much about how many people actually responded to the ad. If I didn't price it right, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't look well, it's not going to matter, right? Okay. So what I want to show you now, well, sorry, there's that one last thing that I mentioned before, your maintenance plan. Here's things that you can throw out there beyond those 5 landing pages. Once a month, put out what's going on for that month. I actually went into the CRM here and I checked. I did this because I figured if you're a renter or you're a home buyer, it doesn't matter. You still need to take care of the property. If they're going to buy at some point, it's good to know this stuff. I selected everybody. You guys know how to do that. I selected everybody in my database. And then I did the, let's see here. And then, how come it's not showing up right here? Come contact. Sorry about this. I'm going to, am I in the wrong place? Hold on, I'm going to go back. Just have to remember how I did this because it was the coolest thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, select all 80 leads. There we go. Okay. For some reason, it put, so I selected all the leads. And then you see this where it says mass email. I went ahead and clicked on mass email. I basically sent this to every single person there. When it does this, I think I showed this to you once before. It sends it to all of them, but it says this name. Your mass email will be sent to each lead as an individual conversation. So it's not going to show all my people in there. Does that make sense? Okay. Then I put a subject there that was, see if I remember. I sent it.
Just running around free, or if they've been here with you.
They must, we've only been out there free for a little bit.
Okay. So I put in the subject in there, I put home maintenance reminder, March is for, or no, time to, I think I put time to flush the water heater. Something like that. I sent it to you so you can see it, but I just want to show you how I did this. Then I came in here and I wrote an email. I put hi, and then over here, it says variable. I can click the lead first name. Well, that's the full name. I just want to do the lead first name. Sorry. Dang it. I put it up here. Come on. Got to know where your typing. Water here. There we go. So I put hi and then first name. So I put the first name in there, comma. And then I said, I can't remember, but I sent it to you in your email. I put a very short message there. It was just something to the fact like, here or March is the time to flush your water heater and clean out your vent, or not your vents, your duct. No, what it was, your dryer vents. That's right, your dryer vents. And then I put click here to learn how. Click here to learn how with video. And then I think I put something to the effect like every month I'll send you a reminder to go keep your house. Something simple like that, right? Does that make sense? Now, do you see what says click here? I highlighted the click here, and then I have this hyperlink button. And then where am I going to hyperlink them to? I mentioned this to you before. Once you have yours set up, which we'll set it up for you, I put that link in there. And hit insert, and so now it's in the email like that. And then I sent this to everybody. I'll show you in just a second how the kind of response I got. It was actually really good. The one thing I did learn in this is that I did a mass text to them as well. Don't do a mass text. Yeah. And the reason for that is because the text doesn't come from your phone number. It actually comes from the number that's used here. It's really good for some of the smart plans and the kind of automation that's in there for that. But to send out that kind of text email, it just says there, click here to unsubscribe. Out of the 78 that I
limits it to 200 on the list.
yeah, and I had it 80 selected. I had 4 people unsubscribe. So it wasn't huge, but I did have 4. And 3 of them were people that I didn't even, they were just leads that had come in that I had never, had too much conversation with. But anyway, but nobody else unsubscribed. Yeah.
Did you do a smart plan for all those people?
So I talked to Lofty about putting a smart plan together so that every month it would send it out so I wouldn't have to do this myself. Is that what you're talking about?
So I have a smart plan that I created that I want specifically for my people, but it's like I have to go to each person and add them to a smart plan. Is there a mass way where I can just make it a smart plan for all of them?
Yeah, you can do a smart plan that will include all of your people if you want to do that. I can show you how to do that. But we were trying to do it so that if you added people to this smart plan, because once new people come in, you can even say that it goes to all of them in that case. Is that what you're trying to do? Yeah.
No, I saw that. I just wanted to see if I could do it the same way you did that, where it's a simple select smart plan, all of them.
Yeah, to do them all on a smart plan. Yeah, there is a way to do that. But on this one, what I wanted is that if I wanted someone, let's say that I have an annual smart plan of things that they should do, like every month. And if I add someone in April, it's gonna start in April instead of starting from January. You know what I'm saying? From the beginning. And we haven't figured out how to do that part of it yet. So right now on this particular one, I just do this mass email once a month. And then I also send out the social media post once a month for each one of those. That's one way to do it. Yes.
Something as long as you're looking at it like that, since it's one you're planning on using like every April, rather than doing just a mass email that you're writing on the fly, you can make an email template and it'll just save it. So all you have to do is apply the template each time and send it to everyone. And it'll be the same thing with the same links each year.
Yeah, yeah. And we've actually put that or started to put that together so you could do that. But you're right. That's what you can do is but you do one for every single month. Yeah, exactly.
Say this is March's email, this is July's email.
Yeah.
And that way, if you label it that way, you'll just have a little folder that has
With a template, but you still have to manually put it out in March, in April.
But you don't have to keep rewriting it.
That's true. That's true. So, yes, question?
Graydon has a question.
Hey, Graydon. Go ahead, Graydon.
Yes,
Is he on
hi.
mute?
I was just
There we go.
wondering
Hey.
about that email blast. You mentioned it can be, sent directly. Do they have the opportunity to unsubscribe with that format or that style of email?
Yeah, anytime you send emails from your database, you have this option, this thing right here. Let me show you. I'll just go into one person here. you specify if they have a consent to contact. Okay. As long as there's a consent to contact, then you can send it to them. So that's one. I know that's not exactly what you asked, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. If you have a lead generation, like leads coming in from Zillow or something like that, it'll automatically check these because they opt in when they send those leads in. So that has to happen first, just so you know. If you had a contact, make sure that these are turned on, right? That you have the right to contact them. If it's a person that you don't know well and you just added them and you put that you have a right to contact and you contact them and they report you and they said, I never gave you permission, you can be fined for this. So be careful. Okay, just so you know. Now, once that's in place, to get to Graydon's question, when they receive that email, so let me see if on this one, maybe she didn't get this one. CMA, I think she just came in, so she didn't get that because I sent her that last week. Let me go to someone else. Trying to show you what it looks like. Oh, here it is right here. So this one, March is the time to flush your water heater and clean your dryer vents. Oh, that was the text one here. Here's what it looks like here. You, I thought it would show it right here. Down here below, it'll say unsubscribe. So every single email that is sent from your CRM by law and by default will have the ability for them to unsubscribe, but it's down here at the bottom. I have not had a single person do that yet since we've been doing this, except for when I did the text. They unsubscribe it because right after the text it says click or write unsubscribe if you want to unsubscribe or something like that. And so I had 4 people that wrote unsubscribe. But so to answer your question, Graydon, yes, they do have the right to unsubscribe. It's down here underneath your picture or down here underneath the contact information. And they can unsubscribe from it. If they do unsubscribe, it's only from the marketing efforts, not from transactional stuff. Okay.
Okay. And the database has that requirement to allow them to unsubscribe. If I email them from my Gmail account, there's no way that they can unsubscribe. Is that the case?
No, in the email itself, they will have the ability to hit a button to unsubscribe it. If they just reply like to an email and just says, I want to unsubscribe, and they write that message, you would have to unsubscribe them.
Right, just send a text with the view of the.
Okay.
No, you sent, because I mean.
Oh, you got the email? Okay, so this is what it looks like. Do you see, to stop receiving future emails, unsubscribe here is what it looks like on that email. So this is what that email looked like, or you just sent this out, didn't you just now?
I just screenshot it because I received your copy.
Oh, you did?
And I just sent it.
Oh, yeah, because you got the high tests. Yeah. And so this is what it looks like. So to answer your question, Graydon, if they click this button right here, this link, it'll take them to a page to unsubscribe and it'll automatically do that in the system. You don't have to do anything. If they just hit reply, hey, please stop sending me emails, you would have to come into your contact and you would have to say, text or email opt-in, no. Does that answer your question, Graydon? You might be on mute again. Okay, hopefully that answered your question. Okay, perfect. Now, what I wanted to show you at this point was, so Mondays, you're going to be sending out your social media. Just put your social media together. 1 hour, that's all you need to spend. If it takes you the full hour to do one post, then just do one post. The next week, you can do a few posts. The following week, you do 10, whatever you feel comfortable. Got a little bit extra time and maybe hopefully a little extra money, you can boost a post, stuff like that, okay? But that's the only day I want you to worry about your posting to social media. If you can set it so that 1 hour a day on Mondays you do that, then you don't have to worry about social media posting for the rest of the week or feel guilty about it or feel like you don't have enough going out. That's the day you do it. Tuesday through Thursday, this is what I want you to do. So let's shift gears and I want you to see what you're going to do in your database for Tuesdays through Thursdays. Everybody ready? Because this is super important. I want you to go into your database and go to your people. What I love about this, one of the reasons I like this database, one of the many reasons, is that it talks about these people as people. These are people, not data sets. They're not leads. I don't want you to think about them as something that's beyond the fact that they are real people. And they have needs. They have a desire to learn or even go to the point of buying or selling property with your help. So as you consider them as people, this is what I want you to do Tuesdays through Thursdays for 1 hour. That's it. Is I want you to go in, and the first thing I want you to do once you pull up your people is to go to your lead score. And I want you to click the button that shows, it's the down arrow button, and it's going to pull up, and you can do it now if you're in front of your computer. It'll pull up all the contacts, all the people in your database that have the highest to the lowest lead score. Okay, what a lead score is based on, and we talked about this a little bit before, is what they've been doing or engaging with in the system. And I'll show you how to give them a reason to engage, what it means for them to be involved with you as their real estate consultant. So the reason I want you to do this lead score filtering is because I want you to work with the lowest hanging fruit first. I want you to work with the people that are the most engaged. I don't want you to randomly call people for no reason. You have a purpose for every time you call somebody. So as you do this, I want you to ask yourself with the people in the order that it's in, okay, who is this person? What's their next step in real estate? You know, what they might want to do. Are they a homeowner or renter is the first thing that you should ask them. When you click on them, you have your pipeline segment. So I want you to check the pipeline segment. Wherever they should be in the pipeline. We are improving the pipeline, the pipeline options that are there. So that will change a little bit. But I want you to look at is wherever they are in that pipeline. Okay. So this one, for example, is in buyer signed. So these people are signed. They are actually just went under contract this last week. So I need to update that. So that's an important thing is like, oh, I got to update this. When you update this information, it also informs AI and the other things that are available to you to keep these people engaged. So I want you to update the pipeline. Now, the other thing too is notice here under this person's name, they are a buyer. It shows here. Do you see that? Right under their name. If I come under here, oh, sorry. It's back where I was before. If I go under details, this is the kind of lead type that they are. See where it says buyer? These people are actually selling their house too. And I got both contracts. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to click on this. They're also a seller. You have renter, investor, agent, homeowner, landlord, other as part of these lead types. We might be enhancing this. If you have ideas, let us know. So I'm going to update that as well as I'm going to hit save. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to start with the people at the very top of that lead scoring list. And you're going to go in there and start updating information, make sure everything is accurate so the system can do its job. And then I'll show you how you're going to actually engage with them even more to get the next step in the process set up for them, okay? So you check your pipeline, then you look at your segment. Are they in the right segment? Well, these people are, see what I have. I don't have anything selected for them. They're part of my farm area, right? They're in the Utah County area, and they are homeowners. And that's it. But so we'll also work on this too, but you can go through here. So in our segments, we have, police, fire responders, neighborhood, referral partners, investors, et cetera, et cetera. So you can check as many of those boxes. Basically, you're teaching the system to know who these people are and how they fit within your database. So I want you to make sure that those things are updated. A lot of times we forget to update this information, or we don't even have it in there. Then when you click on their detailed information, just make sure all this information is accurate, So they have multiple property addresses of where they were looking to buy. I can actually get rid of these now because they went under contract with a house that they wanted to look at. I have his wife's information in here as well. Update all the information you can as you learn about, things like their birthdays or anything like that. You can put that information in here. Basically, what I'm trying to do is get you to make sure that the system knows as much about these people, because they're people, as it should, to help you out. Okay. Any questions about this so far? This is where you can add family members. This is where you can add their own properties that they own, or they're getting CMAs for. You can see that they wanted CMA information for multiple properties that they were considering. They're buying a house that's about $2 million. So they were really concerned about making sure that they understood its value and things like that. So just make sure all this information is updated. Any questions about this so far? Okay, so super easy right there. Now, then you have across the top here, activities, engagement, smart plans and transactions, etc. So under engagement, I have property alerts going out to them for Utah County. Now, they're already under contract. They just went under contract a couple of weeks ago. So you can see I'm behind in this. I want to make sure that I delete this. I don't want to send them property alerts. Why don't I want to send them property alerts? Because they're already under contract with the house. And the last thing I want them to do is start thinking, oh, should we have gotten this house, or look at this house, or something like this. So make sure you delete any property alerts when they're already under contract, so you know where they're at. Makes sense? If you don't help your system understand what these people are doing and what they care about, then it's not going to help you. It might even hurt you a little bit. Okay. Now, they used to be I thought I sent market reports, I guess not, but here's a home report. This home report is for their property. So I leave that there because they're going to sell their property. And if I want, I can put market reports. Now they're building a new house. So that's the house they're going to get. That's why I'm a little behind, because I wasn't so anxious to get things moving, because their house won't be ready until late summer. So, but in a couple of months, we're going to start getting their house ready to list, to sell. Actually, sorry, not late summer. It won't be ready till Christmas. Sorry. On the house they're building. So I've got some time to work with this, but I want them to get that new report, so it kind of gives them an idea of what their house is worth during that time, right? So that's a good thing to be engaged with them on. And then if you want to put a seller report in, you can do that as well. Okay. Any questions about this part of it? Now, I do recommend that if someone is really interested in selling their home, send them a full CMA. Last time when I showed you this CMA, we had an issue with the VOM, which I fixed now because it was on my own, so it shouldn't have affected yours, but it wasn't showing sold data. Now it's showing sold. So if I just comps, it's giving me all of this, these comps that I want to use, but these are all sold homes, right? Before it was just showing pending and active. So now you've got all the properties in this area coming from utahrealestate.com or whatever your MLS is, that's showing both sold data, pending data, and contingent data, as well as active data, right, on the properties that are for sale. And you can update this as much as you want. It automatically selected 15 that it decided based on its AI that it's the most accurate for their property. But is it always that case? Not always. So the cool thing about this is a lot of times I don't even bother going through it. I don't want to spend all the time trying to figure out if it's right or not. So guess who I have to spend the time to do that? The client. Not, yeah, Brady. That's true. That is true. He knows. Pretty close, yeah. Step one is the client. Step two is Braden. Yeah. But what I do with this is I love the fact that this is interactive. So going back to this, if I I don't want to create one because it'll send it out to them. Actually, no, I can actually tell it to send out. But anyway, I'll go back to one that's already there. If I hit customize report, it goes through all the different pages, right? So this is what it looks like. You can even customize this. So if you want to have it change what it looks like, add pages to it, stuff like that, it's gonna have a lot more features than it has now because we're going to add that to it. But this is what it's doing now. And I can delete things. Like if I don't want the first one to be my picture, I can take that out. I guess this is the first one. Oh, I deleted it. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was this. This shows them all of the properties that are similar to their properties that is part of that CMA. But they get it as a digital instead. Like here, it has the option for a PDF. So you can print it out as a PDF. But I'd love to send it to them as a digital format because they can click on each property and go through the pictures and tell me what they like or don't like. I just wanted to make sure you understood the power of the CMA. It's not like before where you avoided sending CMA data out to people because you're afraid that it was going to define what you're going to sell their house at. You now have the ability to get them engaged in discussing what the price should be. So use that feature. That's a great engagement piece there. Okay. So Once you look at their, once you kind of look at their data, their information, and make sure everything is accurate there, go to their engagement, make sure they're subscribed or unsubscribed from different reports that you can send them, because this is the system doing it for you. Then what I want you to do is look at activities, and I want you to start seeing everything that's going on. You can see that I've got pages and pages of stuff that's been going on in here. A lot of this stuff I didn't do. It did it automatically. Topher opened the email about dryer vents, so he actually opened it up when I sent that out about the water heater and dryer vents. He took the CMA that I did send him, and he's actually looked at that. You know, it's showing me all these different things here. Does that make sense? So I can actually take the time to see what they're engaged with and what there might be, that person might be thinking. Then I make a phone call. So this is what you're doing for your 1 hours, Tuesday through Thursdays. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to update the information in the next step based on that person, based on what's going on with them, working with people that are the most engaged first. I can create appointments and tasks here. So that's what you're going to want to do when you have a next step in the process. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So basically all you're going to do on your Tuesdays through Thursdays is you're going to go into your people, you're going to filter by your lead score, and you're going to start from the top, working your way down, and you're going to make sure that your information about those people are updated. Make sure that they're enrolled or subscribed to things that are going to be useful to them. If they're a homeowner, what should every homeowner be getting from you every single month? Whether they're trying to sell or not. A home report. Every single one should be getting a home report. Once they're thinking about selling, then you can start sending them market reports, or buying, you can send them property alerts. Does that make sense, what we're talking about? You want to make sure the system knows how to engage them. As we have smart plans in place that are going to be in here, you'll start adding them to smart plans. You can create your own smart plans. We're going to have a whole series of them, but those smart plans are going to be things like, we're hoping to have one with that 12-month, things that they should do for their home. Right now, you have to do that manually. But there's others going to be like, let's say there's a renter and you haven't talked to them about their pathway to qualification. We'll talk about that in the last week. But with those, you're going to actually try to set up a pathway to qualification appointment. And then you might send them a smart plan that has to do with building equity, or about what it means to buy your first place. We have all these great smart plans for people that are in the mode of maybe buying their first place at some point. And then if you're a homeowner, they're going to get their home report, and we're going to be talking about how to leverage their equity. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is what I wanted you to learn today, is Tuesdays through Thursdays. So you can even start today. And I'm going to say it one more time. Go into your people, filter by lead score, and start going through each one of those people and find out, okay, Topher, what's Topher doing? Oh yeah, Topher is already under contract. So I got to start a transaction for him. I don't know if you've seen how to do this yet, but I need to start this transaction. I'm going to click this plus button, and then the transaction name automatically does it for this home that he wants to buy. I think this is the right address for this. Yeah, that's the right one. So the transaction type is a purchase. And then the transaction stage, because he's buying a property, is that he is signed and he's actually under contract. And then I'm going to hit save. And then what it does, this is really cool. Look at what it did for you, is it actually has all the important dates for that transaction. When the buyer broker agreement was signed, when the offer date was signed, when the offer was accepted, your seller disclosures deadline, your due diligence deadline, your financing and appraisal deadline, your settlement deadline, your earnest money's due, your home inspection date. You can put all these dates in. Once you put all these dates in, and then you put in the property, so you can put in the address and listing price and all the information about that property, then your checklist. So if I'm going to add a template, we have a template called the buyer with lender checklist. And we'll have all these others here. If I click that there and I could put confirm, watch what it does. Here's your under contract checklist. You're going to share the purchase contract with your title and with your lender. It actually goes through and tells you exactly what you're going to do and who's going to get notified and when the due date is. and you can update this information if you want. So all this is all built into the system to help you manage the transaction after you get them under contract. That makes sense? So you're going to go in here with each one of your people, and you're going to make sure that they're in the right place in terms of the information, you know, for the pipeline and all that. Make sure that you know what they're doing. You can set appointments and tasks, and then now you have the power to call them up and ask them about what those next steps are, whatever they may be. If they're engaged, they're obviously already involved. You're just setting now the opportunity to do the next step, whatever that is. Yes.
Are the checklists controlled by you, or can we make our own?
You can make your own, and we create them too. So we'll have a bunch of checklists. You can even take our checklists and modify them if you want to. But yes, you can create your own checklists. But what we want to do in these checklists, like if I go back to that checklist, which I haven't shown too much to this transaction, right here, it will click on this. You have dates, property checklists, accounting, contacts, documents, etc. If I go to contacts, like right now, just put him in here. Then what I'll do is I'll add down here, add a contact. I can add the escrow officer, right? And I would sign that to Mary because Mary's going to do that. Oops. So there's Mary. And then I can send an introduction email on assignment. If I want to do that, I can tell it where it goes. You know, it tells Mary about them. I need to do this. So yes, Mary, you'll get that. I haven't done it yet. I wasn't in a rush because they're not built until December. But then I hit confirm. Now that I've added her, I can add the lender. When I go to my checklist, like this checklist down here says, who is it signed to? Like right now, because I haven't assigned her yet, this one says schedule settlement and signing. It'll actually assign it to Mary within the checklist automatically, and she'll get notified, and then Mary can respond, and then it says that it's done or not. Yes.
How do we tell it who Mary is? Is that something that's in our regular?
It's in your vendor list.
In our vendor.
Yes, and we'll show you how. We'll get into that a little bit later because we haven't gotten to that point yet. But you have the ability to add your vendors, and you can add title. You can add your lender. You can add a home warranty rep. You can add your inspector. You can add your appraiser. You can add all those people in there.
And those are generally who I would then remove if I'm saying setting up smart plans for everyone.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily. So within the transaction itself, it's kind of its own smart plan kind of format.
I'm talking about when you're saying you want somebody to be on a smart plan, so everybody's getting everything in your entire database, but your vendors are also in your database.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's true. Do vendors also buy homes and sell homes? So yeah, but you can take them out if you want to. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
We got a question online.
Yeah.
Emily Robin has a question.
Hey, Emily.
Hey, just going back to the CRM, I am still having issues where not the CRM, sorry, CMA. When I do a CMA, I'm still only getting active and pending comps. And then the second issue I'm having is when I try to go to customize the report, it will ask me to upgrade to Lofty Present to customize the CMA. Like I have to pay for an upgrade in order to customize it.
Okay, great. Two questions. Answer question number one. There's two things you have to apply for with your MLS in order to get the MLS data that you want. One of them is the IDX key, which is for your website. The other is called a VOM. So you're, or VOW, sorry, VOW. Got the
okay.
VOW. So Braden, will you send out information to everybody to make sure that that's done?
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't know that until just recently because we were like, where's all the sold data? And then we found out that our VOW wasn't done and we had to submit a separate application. It happened in a day. So he'll send out that. So that's the first one. Sorry about that. They told us that everybody else's was all right, but I guess there might be a few that aren't. The second one that you asked about is called, you have your CMA and then you have your presentation. We're trying to get them to add the presentation. So hopefully it'll happen in a week or so where that will be included and not something you have to pay extra for. So now you can do your CMA with the basic pages it already has in place and you can delete ones you don't want, but it doesn't give you the ability to add pages and add information that might be about your process or something like that. We'll get that fixed, but it's going to take a week or two.
Okay, because yeah, just customizing it, meaning like if I want to switch pages around, or like the only thing it'll let me do right now is just adjust comps, but I can't like just customize the report. So you're saying
It
you're
should,
going to try and
it
opt
should
into-
allow you to delete pages and move pages if you want. It should let you do that. It's just not going to let you create extra pages. It's a weird thing that they're trying to charge extra for. We're going to have that
Okay.
included. So sorry about
Okay.
that. It will be included. And by the way, for everybody, just so you know, when you in Canva, you have the listing presentation in Canva, or we're going to try to put that in the CRM so that in your presentation, your whole listing presentation, and you can even combine it with the CMA together. And that's what we're trying to build right now with them.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Two really good questions. Any other questions?
Mike, I have
got
one.
it?
This is Don Mendenhall. Hey,
Hey, Don.
So when I was playing around with the CMA software, I had a home that was worth about 1.25, and I tried to just add the filter of anything over a mil. I didn't want to see anything under a mil, and it would not take that criteria at all. It was weird, and so like, and so that's. I mean, I wanted to leave the upper end open, but I only wanted to see anything over a mil, and so I don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah, that is weird because I haven't seen that where.
Have you tried to
only do
filter
that.
by price criteria?
I have. I've done a filter by a few things and it worked. I'll check that one and I'll let you know.
Thank you.
So that it only shows those. Now, obviously, you get to check which homes it shows, but it would be nice that you don't have to go through and see a bunch of properties that are not within the filter that you're looking for. So I'll check on them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Entered some people's homes into the home evaluation where you can send it to them monthly.
Uh-huh.
Then just don't pop up.
I know we've worked with them on that. We have the same problem with HomeBot where it's just not finding certain properties. We're finding that there's about 70% that it finds and about 30% that it's not finding for whatever reason. And when it doesn't find one, when I go into our engagement, this is what I do is I'll go in there and I'll do the market report for them and send it for their area. And then I'll build a CMA. And I've actually gotten a lot of response from the CMA that way if I can't get them the home report. Obviously, I want them to have the home report, especially if they're not in the mode of selling right now. But this CMA is built so quickly that for those people that even if I'm not sure if they're ready to sell yet or they might mention they might be ready, I'll just throw together because it takes a few seconds and send it out to them that way. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's right now we're getting about 30% where it just can't find enough data to build that home report. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure it wasn't.
It's not you. Yeah, it's not you. Oh, and one thing I forgot to tell you. Remember last week we had that issue with trying to build your farm landing page and you in the drop down, it wouldn't let you select your city. Did you understand how that's done? So Braden said, oh, good. Because I just wanted you to see this is where it's at. So if you go to your website, here's your editor. If you go to areas, the areas that you specify are your particular areas, which is how your website really focuses in on your farm area. This is where you put it. You can even do neighborhoods, which is nice. You can even select neighborhoods. And this is where you're going to start building those landing pages that are very specific to that particular area, right? You can even do like, if let's say, for example, South Jordan is your area and you just want to do a whole bunch of landing pages for townhomes and condos in Daybreak, for example, you can select Daybreak as a neighborhood, right? And you'd have to do it here. Then you can go and create those landing pages on your website. So again, as we're learning this as you do, because you're the focus group, we're trying to find either why it's not working and a workaround, or we're finding out, oh, it works, but you have to do this first. So thank you for your patience on that. And we'll keep doing that. I will continue, even after our focus group is done, I will keep sending out, and so will Braden, to everyone that's a subscribed member, updates and information. And you'll always be able to reach out to us and say, hey, like Don just asked, why aren't I able to filter it by the $1 million properties? Please know that you'll always be able to reach out to us for that information. Okay. So we're going to end with this. My goal today was for you to be able to, with your power hour, after Monday, of course, is your social media, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is to go through your database and make sure that everybody in your database is getting the information that's going to help them take the next step. The best way for you to do that is to make sure that their contact information is correct in terms of their pipeline, their segment, and the lead type that they are, that you've got, put their family members. I can't tell you how effective it is when I send someone, a property alert for someone. If their spouse doesn't see it, that's a huge obstacle, because you want them both to get excited about properties that they're looking at, or they don't get a home report. They both need to get it. So make sure you put, that kind of information in there. Make sure you understand what AI and your system, your smart plans are doing to help get them engaged. If they have a high engagement score, there's a reason for that. Find out what that reason is. Make sure they're getting the kind of, alerts and things like that are going to help them stay engaged, and then call them up. After you've done that, get them on the phone and say, hey, John, I noticed you've been looking at these properties over here, whatever it is that they're doing. How can I help you get into one of those homes? What questions can I answer? And typically that's when you get into the real good conversation. Like my sister the other day was asking, should I buy a property and rent it out? Or should I rent out my property and move to another? And what does that mean if I don't have enough money? Because if I buy an investment property, I have to put 20% down. That was her question. How do I get 20% down if I only have this much money? Should I? But she's like, but I like where I live and I don't want to move. All those things come up. People have these kind of questions. So I said, well, you've got a bunch of equity in that property. Take out 30,000, because that's the difference between the 20% and what she had. Take out 30% or $30,000 in terms of a home equity line of credit, right? Which she can do. And then make sure that the money you're getting per month to rent it out, and I can help you find out what that average, rental amount is in that area, that your rent will cover these costs that are involved. Your down payment, of course, will be separate, but the fact that you're putting more money down means that it's going to be more cash flow for the rent that you're going to charge, right? You know all this stuff. They don't know this stuff. But if you can't get them on the phone to talk about it, if you can't get them engaged in the first place, you never have those conversations. Most conversations we have with our people are what? Hey, how's it going? Haven't talked to you in a while. You ready to buy or sell? Do you know someone ready to buy or sell? We're doing a lot of things that aren't really meaningful to them. So this is what the CRM is based to do. Did you have a question, Robert? Okay. So have fun going through your people Tuesday through Thursday, just 1 hour a day. Find out what's going on with them. Start, of course, with the people that are the most engaged, because that's your lowest hanging fruit, and then work your way down. Next week, I'll talk to you about what do you do when you run out of people to talk to during that hour period. The power hour is there to get more leads coming in to your database, and then nurturing those leads until they go under agreement, and then managing that transaction. If you get to a point where you're like, I need more, that's what I'm going to teach you about next week. And that's what your power hour will be on Friday, how to get more leads coming in terms of even paid for lead sources. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week.